Welcome to Modern Entrepreneur. I'm Landon Ray, and today I have Maya Elious. Maya is a personal branding strategist who teaches experts how to create content to grow and monetize their online brands. She's helped hundreds of students and clients launch digital content platforms such as blogs, challenges, masterclasses, webinars, courses. As a first-generation American who dropped out of college to break free from the mold, she believes in the power of pursuing your purpose despite the naysayers. She enjoys encouraging women to use their voices to share their messages in the form of online content in order to reach more people. Thank you so much for being here, Maya.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. How long you been at it?
Well, I started making money online back in like 2008. And then I've been like teaching and coaching full-time technically since 2013-ish.
Yeah, so a while. So if you could go back to 2008 or 7 and you know, have your current self give your younger self a tip about how to make, you know, your experience easier, what would it be?
Don't work with jerks. Be really particular about who you want giving you money. So I think starting out, we're just so excited that people actually want to pay us.
Yeah.
But it's like there's nice people that will pay us too. And there's people that you actually can make a connection with that will pay you as well.
Yeah, sounds like you had a couple of rough experiences.
Yeah, because I started out as a graphic designer. So I think in service-based businesses, working with people so closely, things can get kind of like personal, things can get kind of like touchy.
Yeah.
So I think it's always really important to work with people that you actually like and actually have a connection with.
How do you figure that out before you've like gotten into business with them?
Well, I'm finding that now that I know how to like target the right people, I'm working with people that I would actually hang out with in like a personal setting. And I'm hanging out with people that have similar like values as I do. They like the same jokes that I like. They watch the same TV shows. So kind of just thinking about like, would I actually hang out with this person if they weren't paying me? Yeah,
that's an interesting one. We have I don't think it's like a formal thing, but we learned from Vishen Lakhiani at Mind Valley, one of the criteria that he has in his hiring process is whether or not they pass the beer test, which is basically the same thing. Like, would you want to go out and have a beer with these people,
right?
Or would you not? It's you know, it's interesting to you know, think about the risks maybe involved in like having a homogenous sort of culture, but then on the other hand, you got to go to work every day,
right?
And you spend half your waking lives there and doing it with people that you enjoy. And I think a lot of us think about that too in terms of our employees.
Yep.
But you're talking about having a beer test with your clients.
I like the beer test idea because I use that same analogy technically with the people that I do hire and the people that are on my team, but it's just like my team has to work with these people too, and I don't want my team working with assholes. So I think it's just definitely important that there's a culture standard with your team, but there's also a culture standard with your clients. Yeah.
So what is your unique skill set?
For me personally, I think like when people are like, how do I make myself stand out? How do I make myself unique? I really just think it's story. There's a million personal branding strategists. There's a million people that teach what I teach, but I think people connect with me specifically based on like how I started, what my story is. I connect with a lot of women that were too scared to leave their job or too scared to, you know, quit college or too scared to do something because of their parents, because that's part of my story. Being a business coach, I don't really think is that unique, to be quite honest. I think I am unique because of my story.
That's an interesting perspective. Most of us imagine that we've got to have some kind of superpower in order to be successful, to kind of like stand out. But what you're saying is that as long as you're providing value, you know, in your case as a coach, that today we have the opportunity to stand out simply because there's a crowd of people that will resonate with kind of who we are.
Right.
And so then it becomes about making sure you get that across in some way.
Yeah, I think that's why personal branding is so important, because our industries are so saturated. It pretty much doesn't matter what you do. Your industry is basically going to be saturated, especially when it comes to marketing and online business. And so building your personal brand, it allows people to get to know you beyond your skill set. Because people hire me, yes, for, you know, strategy and coaching and stuff like that, but they make the decision to pay me because of who I am.
Yeah. So what's working right now to grow your business, to grow your personal brand, to attract customers?
Yeah, I think what's working is the consistent content creation. And I was just doing a talk and saying that it's not just about putting out content, but thinking about content as having a consistent conversation with people that you want to build relationships with, and having a consistent conversation with people that you eventually want to pay you. So I think what's working is that I'm always thinking about my audience and how I can serve them, whether it's through free content or it's through the products and services that I'm selling.
So how do you come up with new ideas that are going to be interesting to your audience on a really regular basis?
I think it's just about being intentional about actually having conversations with your audience, right? So it's like people want their audience to like them, but they don't actually have the conversations with their audience. They're like, I want engagement, but it's like, but do you even talk to your audience? Do you ask them what they want? So I think that's really important. And then also just having outside conversations with people, telling people what you do, and then asking them what areas they're struggling with or what they would be interested in learning about what you do.
Yeah.
And that's where content derives from.
So what does it look like to have a conversation with an audience? Because I usually have a conversation with a person. What do you mean have a conversation with an audience?
So I think when I say have a conversation with an audience, I think about like my overall like general following online, like my Facebook groups or like, my Instagram following, and I'll post something, I'll pose a question, and then people will come in and give me a response, and then that helps me think like, oh, people are struggling with this, or people are curious about this. So then I'll create content based on like what people are telling me that they're struggling with or what they're excited about.
Yeah, so it's just staying engaged, not guessing. It's just it's more about asking.
Exactly. I don't think there's a need to guess, especially when you have a group of people that are willing to just tell you what they want from you.
Yeah. So what are you learning right now? What's kind of like the cutting edge, the next thing that you're struggling with that you're trying to figure out?
Yeah, I think what I'm excited to learn about next is using PilotPress, actually.
Oh, wow.
So I just switched from a different platform to PilotPress to transfer my members. So I'm just trying to learn how to continue growing my online membership, and really how to use partner programs as well, so that way I can get some affiliates to help me grow the online membership.
Awesome. So technology, you like get in there and like deal with it yourself.
Sometimes I do. I like the tech nerdy stuff. I think it's really fun, especially because I did start off as like a web and graphic designer. So that stuff is really fun to me. But then I also do have somebody that enjoys that too on my team that can help me every once in a while.
Yeah. Awesome. So when you think about, we talked about going back in time, but what about going forward in time and looking back? What would you like your legacy to be? What would you like to be remembered for?
I would like to be remembered for pretty much just giving people permission to use their voice. I think sometimes we're just looking for somebody to be like, you can do it, it's okay, you can share your message with the world. And I want to be that person that's like, Maya really encouraged me to move forward with my purpose, or Maya really encouraged me to do that talk, or to put out that online course, or to really just push forward with what I believe in.
And so what does Maya say when that person musters up the courage to use their voice and, spends all the time that they spend to write that first blog post or to, practice that first talk, and then, they post it and they get 0 comments, or they go do the talk and people are like, oh, that was really nice. And the feedback isn't, what they hoped it would be. What does Maya say to encourage them to try again?
I usually encourage people to make the first step, and then after they make the first step, it kind of switches into like discipline mode. Like, you can't just do this once and think you're going to get all of the results, right? Like, you have to continue doing this. So I think that's the most important thing that people need to know. If you're really serious about what you're doing, you're going to push beyond step 1.
You either gotta like persevere through these kind of setbacks, or this learning process, or you're just not in the game.
Yeah, you're not in the game.
A little bit of tough love from
Yeah, you got to be willing to take a hit. If 3 people read your blog post, then promote it more and write another blog post.
Yeah, good. So we live in this unique time where people can blog and they can do a million and one other things that they couldn't do just a few years ago. We've called this thing Modern Entrepreneur to try and get at what it means to be an entrepreneur in this unique moment. What do you feel like the opportunities are today and the responsibilities for entrepreneurs today?
I think the responsibility is, of course, just thinking about who you want to serve. And I think that's kind of getting lost in translation. Like, people are so focused on like, okay, I have to do a webinar or I have to do a Facebook ad. Like, they're so focused on like what strategy is going to work best and make me the most money. And of course, that's really important. But a lot of people have just lost focus on like, who am I really here to serve? Like, why did I decide to start this business? So if your main focus is just like getting the most people on your email list and making the most money, I think you're gonna burn out pretty quickly because results don't just happen instantaneously. So if your heart isn't in it to help other people, I feel like you're either gonna fail or you're gonna burn out.
Yeah, so really it's a foundation of giving a damn about what you're doing, and that's the thing that gets you through the 3 readers on your blog post, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's been a
Yeah,
real
thank
pleasure.
you so much for having me.
Will you sign our wall?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.